Here's a real life example. Somebody had a townhouse. They had a mortgage on that townhouse, and the mortgage was only, I think maybe they only had it for 18 months or 16 months or something like that. And for a variety of reasons, they needed to move to a new home, a duplex in fact, and what they wanted to do was port their mortgage. And so as they started going down the road to port it, the lender that currently held their mortgage had said to them, look, we'll port it for you, but you need to re-qualify. And in fact, not only do you need to re-qualify, here's the criteria by which you have to re-qualify. So what ended up happening with this particular individual is what started out as needing to port the mortgage because they had the extra cash, they had the ability to get the extra cash to make up the difference between what the townhouse was worth versus what the duplex purchase price was. But the lender really made it difficult for them, and in fact, it turns out they couldn't even qualify to port the mortgage because of the way the lender was calculating out their qualification. So in this particular case, the client had to pay out the mortgage, we had to help them get to a whole new lender who, they had a payout penalty that they had to pay for because they were only 16 or 18 months into their mortgage, and the new mortgage that they got, the interest rates were relatively the same, but it was just the hassle and the legal costs and everything that had to go with it. And to compound problems, they had made this decision and had only given themselves about 10 days, I think 10 or 14 days to get all of this done. And so that obviously added a tremendous amount of pressure to the transaction. They weren't able to plan ahead for it, and so it wasn't a pleasant experience for them. They did end up doing what they needed to do. But I share this because it's important for you, if you're thinking of porting your mortgage, that you give yourself some time to work through whether or not it's the right decision, and then once you've decided whether that it is, that you then figure, okay, now what's going to be involved in porting my mortgage? What things do I need to know? How do I make sure that this doesn't become more painful than it has to be? And so anyway, there's a real life example of a port that went wrong, or rather didn't kind of work out the way they had hoped it would. And maybe you can learn from that if you find yourself in that situation. You can visit emilynow.ca to get started. Our customer service team, after you create an account, be happy to help you kind of work through the math of what a decision like this involves. And anyway, you can get started today.